Who's ready to get a little bit better? Let's do this, people. Let's get a little bit. Woo! Okay, let's do this. Let's get better. You're at a certain point in your life, just like I am. And if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure where you're at, there's a gap between where you're at and where you want to be. Hopefully we're grateful for where we're at. But man, I got my eyes on the horizon. I'm going somewhere, baby. And so here's the question I want to ask that is very, very foundational to everything we do in personal development, personal growth. How do I get what I want? Now, I'm not one of those people that are like, hey, don't be selfish. Don't be talking about what you, listen, we all know the biggest question that everybody's asking when you're selling, what is the question you're supposed to ask? Because they're asking it and you're supposed to say, they're asking, what's in it for me? You're asking that. Like right now, you're watching this video. What's in this for me? What's in this for me? That's not selfish. You're a human, right? And so like there are desires, hopes, and dreams on the inside of you. And don't try to squash them. Don't try to and some of you, listen, you're watching this and you need to stir up those dreams that are on the inside of you. It's time to take some dreams off the shelf, out of the closet, bring them out and say, okay, this is what I really want. I want more. Like, how do you get if you want more, let me give you, I got 5 things. 5 things you need to do to get what you want, to step into the more that you desire in your life. Number 1, you better visualize it. Get clear about what it is that you want. My definition of more and your definition of more could be totally different. For some of you, your definition of more is more pizza in my life. I hope that's not your definition of more might be, I want to spend more time in the mountains, whereas I'm okay with the mountains, spend some time in the mountains recently, love it. But my definition would include more time at the beach. See, different definitions of more. What is more to you? Is it more time with your family and less hours working? Is it more travel? Is it more adventure? Is it more love in your life? What is your definition of more? And I want you to get clear about what it is you want. So you can't get what you want if you don't know what it is that you want. So begin to get clear. This is kind of pre-step. Get clear about what you want and then take some time every day. Close your eyes and visualize it. Maybe you're not a close your eyes and visualize it. Maybe you're a pull up your computer, your phone and get pictures of it and look at it and then okay, I'm going to see myself in that moment right there. I'm going to see myself in that place. I'm going to see myself making that kind of impact. There's all kinds of things that I've done this with. Some of those things I've visualized and I've got to step into that moment that I saw in my mind's eye years before. Many of the things that I'm visualizing these days, I haven't stepped into those moments yet, but I make it a regular practice to visualize it. And by the way, while you're visualizing, just a little key pointer on visualization, don't just see it, feel it. Feel it to your core. What are going to be the emotions you feel in that moment? What are going to be the words that you speak when other people say, what was it like? How would you describe it? So visualize it, but see it and feel it. See it and feel it. See it and feel it. So number 1, visualize it. Number 2, speak it. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Speak it out. This goes right along with the visualizing it. And you're going to see, I'll go ahead and everything I'm talking to you about, you don't want to do it just once. All 5 of these things, this is a big, big key that wraps them all together. I'm just going to give it to you right now in the middle. Make it a daily habit. Turn it into a habit every day. And every day you're seeing what you want and you are speaking what you want and you are creating energy. You are putting energy. Literally, this is the science behind manifestation. Words and thoughts create energy, and energy eventually has to manifest into the material world. Literally science. Write about it in our book, Creating Your Best Life, that I wrote with my friend Bill Walton. You should pick up a copy on Amazon, Creating Your Best Life by Mark Keen and Bill Walton. Great book. But we talk about this. We talk about the power of visualizing it. We talk about the power of speaking it. Listen, I've got a whole little PDF on how to create powerful affirmations. And one of the biggest things that holds people back from doing daily affirmations, which I totally think you should do, and this is what I'm really talking about here, is they feel silly when they do it. Is anybody it's like am I supposed to look at the mirror and like talk to the mirror? Like, am I like, what if people see me? I don't care. You're freaking creating your best life. Who cares what people think? But if you're worried about feeling silly, you will. If you've never done this before, you're going to feel a little silly, okay? Just get over it and do it anyways, okay? Because there's a power and there is proof behind this. Has the ability to help you create the life you want, to help you get what you want. So number 1, visualize. Number 2, speak it. Number 3, this doesn't flow like semantically with the other ones. Big dreamers and doers. Get around some big, not just big dreamers, but people that have big dreams and they're big on the actions, the follow through. You got to have some people that have dreamt of something and follow through on it. And so get around, listen, you can't do this stuff. You can't get what you want alone. You need to get around the right people. That proximity is power. Who you surround yourself with is who you become. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Pick the phrase that has been around for generations. They are all true. And so get around some people. See, if you're feeling like, man, I'm not where I want to be, get around some people who are where you want to be. Get around some people who have gone where you've gone. I was having a conversation with a dear, dear friend of mine recently. He's also a client, but a dear, dear friend of mine. And he said to me, Mark, there's just something that changes when you have $1 million cash in the bank. And he said, I've been there. I'm speaking from experience. You're going to get there. See, there's something about that conversation that marks me to say, I'm going to get what I want. For me, it's calling, it's purpose, right? But there's something about being around someone who's done some of the things, accomplished some of the components of that vision, and I can draft on his faith. I can draft on his results. And so get yourself around some big dreamers and some big doers. Number 4, gratitude. I feel like just about any list I give you of anything, like gratitude's just going to end up on there. And there's a reason. Because it's powerful and it works. And you cannot be in a state of anger and frustration and depression when you're living grateful every day. Oh my gosh, look, the sun came out. Oh, I have breath in my lungs. I'm alive. Look at that. Like, you cannot be depressed and be grateful at the same time. Not if you commit to living in that place. Don't send me messages about depression's chemically about listen. Gratitude is powerful. I don't care who you are. I don't care what challenges and obstacles you have in your life. If you live in a grateful place, listen, you will not get what you want. You're not going to get there from here. You're not going to close that gap if you're doing it needing that outcome. Again, the book, The Gap and the Gain, is a tremendous read on this. But you need to live every day in a state of gratitude while you're creating everything that you want to create. Be grateful for the day you have to create it. Last point, this is a lesson that I learned early on in my journey, and grateful for the coach that said these words to me. He said, Mark, you've got to learn to live on the edge of courage and action. That's the point. Courage and action. You got to have it. You got to make it a daily habit. You got to make gratitude a daily habit. You got to make speaking and visualizing and getting around big dreamers. You got to make it a daily practice in your life. See, if you're only making courage and action an occasional activity in your life. I love what Tony Robbins says about massive action is the cure-all. But sometimes everyday action that you do repeatedly, it takes courage to live in that place of daily, consistent action. We are what we repeatedly do. And so I want to challenge you to live, not just visit occasionally. That's not that. If you just visit courage and action occasionally, that is not enough for you to get what you want. It is not enough for the people that are counting on you to get what you want, because what you want is impacting their lives. it's not enough. You can't just visit occasionally. You've got to live on the edge, baby, of courage and action. Live there. My friend April Garcia, she talks, by the way, she has a great podcast, the Pivot Me podcast with April Garcia. Check it out. But April talks about, I don't know if she originated this statement, but she said it enough that I'm giving her credit. You got to get used to running downhill. See, you're never going to get used. See, when you're running downhill, you kind of feel like you're out of control, and you got to learn to run downhill without falling on your face, right? But see, when you live on courage and action, all of a sudden there's a momentum that gets bigger than you that starts carrying you, but you're never going to get used to running downhill if you don't live on a daily basis on the edge of courage and action. Listen to my other videos on rest and rhythm and energy and vitality. I got a balance on this, but listen, courage and action is a necessity in your life and in my life for us to get what we want. So 5 things you can do to get what you want. And listen, I believe you were destined for greatness. I don't know if you've heard me say there's greatness on the inside of you, but I believe it to my core. I believe you were created with purpose and destiny. And wherever you're at, I want you to be grateful, overflowing with gratitude and joy. I want you to live in fulfillment. I help people get to that place all the time with the deep work events that I do. But I don't want you to settle. Don't settle. Greatness on the inside of you. Do not settle. Have the courage to live a life that gets you where you want to go, that gets you, some of you would say, like me, get you where God wants you to go, that lives into your calling with courage. I believe you were created for that. I hope that this video stirs you and encourages you and maybe gives you some practical ways to step into this as you make these things a daily habit. I love you people. This is where you should get off this video right now and go out there and give your greatness to the world because somebody needs what's on the inside of you. Do not hold it back. Go out there and give it away. I love you guys. Have a great week.